What's up, YouTube? It's Tito here, and I'm going to talk about the 7 books that I've read so far this year, or am still reading. So I'm going to start with like the first book that I read in January. We're going to go down the list. I think they're in the correct order. If not, whatever. I read these books. So the first one is the Scylla Prophecy. The way that this book came to me, as well as kind of was brought back up in my life to even make me want to read the book, was very interesting, and it kind of goes along with the first. What are they called? Insight. So there are like 8 to 9 insights in here, I think. But the first one, well, here's a little quote from inside of the book. It says, "I guess the first insight is an awareness of the mysterious occurrences that changes one's life. The feeling that some other process is operating." So that's the first insight. Like I said, there are about 8 of them in there. But basically what I got from that first one was that they're really not coincidences in life. It's instances that happen that should show you something, or reveal something to you, answer a question, or point you in a certain direction, and that you should really pay attention to those things. So that's really interesting. I thought it was a good book. It's more of like a mystic type of book or whatever, but I thought it was pretty cool. And like I said, like things that were happening during that same time and just everything behind it was like crazy. So that made it even better for me to like read that book. Another one that I read was Who Moved My Cheese. This is really good. Like if you have fear, or if you run a business or something like that, this could help. It's really short read. They say it's for like all ages, because basically it talks about 4 characters. There's 2 mice named Sniff and Scurry, and 2 little people named Hem and Haw, and they're all in like this maze. And at first they have some cheese, but then the cheese starts to get old or disappears, and they got, they're, some of them go to find new cheese, some of them don't, depending on their personality. So there's these 4 different personality types basically. Let's see if I can reach a little bit on the, okay, here we go. So Sniff sniffs out change early. Scurry scurries into action. Hem denies and resists change because he fears it will lead to something worse. And Hall learns to adapt, but only when he sees something better. So those are the 4 different personality types basically. And the cheese is whatever they want in life. Whatever you want in life. So it's a good book, short read, like I said. So I suggest those 2. There's another one I suggest, which I've been recommended like so many different times, like at work and on YouTube and different places. Like people have always recommended this book. Get another short book, good book I'll recommend too. I will say though, I'm going to read this one quote that somebody said about the book, but it's like common sense stuff, but it's just written in a different way. I do like The Alchemist a little bit better than this, but not to say that they're very comparable like that, but I do like The Alchemist if I were to recommend one over the other. I don't know, just something about that one that I like. So here's a little quote. It says, Ruiz, which is the author of the book, transforms complex human issues into simple common sense. He tells us that all of our emotional suffering is because we believe in lies, mainly about ourselves. So the 4 agreements, I'm going to read them to you. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. The second agreement, don't take anything personally. The third agreement, don't make assumptions. And the 4th agreement, always do your best. So I still recommend this because it's a good book. And it's good to try and remind yourself of those 4 agreements. So a lot of times I have to remind myself, don't make assumptions or don't take anything personally, because that's someone else's issues. I can only control myself and how I react to certain things. This next book, I don't really recommend it. I will say, if you want to like look into the topic, you can do that because it's pretty cool. And I'd heard about it before, but the book itself is okay. It mainly has pictures in it. And I gotten this book at the church rummage sale, which is where I got the Scylla Prophecy too. Which they were all just a part of all these books that I got that I was going to sell. But I ended up, I have a few that I want to read, and these were in that pile that I wanted to read. So this is called Love Thyself. It says on here, to love yourself is to love and thank all of existence. So basically this guy used this machine to be able to see water crystallize, and he found out that whatever intent was put into that water that was always around that water constantly, whatever, the water crystals would change shape depending on whatever that intent was. So let's see if I can find you something to kind of give you a comparison. Trying to find like the bad ones to give you a comparison of. But like I said, basically it's like a picture book. Come on. Okay, I don't know where the bad ones are, but like I said, so this is basically like what majority of the book is. These pictures with a little commentary underneath. But he says he did that because he wanted you to think for yourself on what this stuff means, or, you know, have your own opinion on it. So these are just different images. I would love to show you a comparison of like a bad one next to a good one, but I don't really see one in here right off the back. So yeah, I don't know about that. But anyway, like I said, like you can just look this stuff up online. You don't have to read the book. It wasn't much to read anyway. So that was just one that I read. And now I'm at this point where I have 3 books that I need to finish before the end of this month. That is because, like, with everything with Dora and stuff like that, it kind of put me behind on reading. So I'm trying to catch up. I'm almost done with one of these. Okay, my memory got full, so I had to dump some stuff off of my phone. So here we go. Let's get back into this. I have 3 books left that I'm reading right now. One I'm almost done with, which is my earthing book. My earthing book. But I am reading this one with Alicia, 5 Love Languages. She has her own book, so we read a chapter at a time together. And the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. If you're in a relationship and you haven't read this before, I would suggest to read it. I won't say it'll solve all your problems, but maybe it'll help make some sense for you, or help you be able to love that person even more. So yeah, we're reading that right now. About halfway done with it. This one, like I said, I'm reading this one myself, earthing. I've been talking about this. You may have heard of grounding before. The same thing in grounding as well as in electrical stuff. So that's the whole idea is with electrical stuff, you have to ground anyway. All your plugs and stuff, when you do solar in your van or RV or whatever it is, you're going to need to ground it, which basically means connecting it to the ground or connecting it to something that will like help not create a short circuit or whatever. So I'll just read this back part for you. It says, beneath your feet outdoors is not just a mere path of grass, dirt, sand, or concrete. It is omnipresent source of natural healing energy. After you read this book, you will never look at the ground the same way. And we humans, as all other living beings, are electrical creatures on an electrical planet, and the ground beneath us is more than something we just stand, walk, play, and build on. Sorry, my mind's all over the place because I've tried to record this a few times. But yeah, so basically the idea is that you go walking barefoot or whatever. It helps you connect better because our shoes and stuff blocks us from connecting with the earth and getting the electrons from the earth. That helps balance us out. It helps reduce inflammation and all that, but it has a lot of scientific information in here to back up the claims, or you can just look it up online. There is also, if you can't get outside or you live in a certain place, you don't have grass or something around. I know I struggle with that in like Arizona and Colorado where I was at, in like more of the desertous parts. They have products that you can get that plug into an outlet, and you want to make sure that outlet is actually grounded. And you can basically ground while you're at work. There's pads you can sleep on. You know, there's a sleeping bag type of a thing for travelers. There's patches you can put on your feet because those are points, acupressure points that hit you faster, I guess, or whatever. It helps speed up the process. But what do you have to lose? Walk around barefoot and see what happens. They say try to do 30 to 45 minute sessions a day. I usually will take this outside and read it while I ground. And it's just supposed to help overall. I am getting better sleep, and I'm being able to have more energy when I wake up. So that's great. And I've only been doing it for about 2 weeks now, I guess, consistently. Off maybe a day or two off in there. But, and I'm going to continue to do this because, like I said, what do you have to lose? It's free. You just go outside and stand in some grass or walk around in whatever you have around you, or get one of these pads and sleep on it, and it should give you some good health benefits. The last book that I have is The Tao of Seneca, which is that right there. So it's an ebook that I have. This one is just volume 1, and there are like 60 something letters in this volume. There are 3 volumes altogether, and I'm going to do the other 2 for the next 2 months. But it's really good, really interesting. I mean, this was written way back when, and Seneca was like somebody that consulted with the emperor or whoever it was back then. But I'm going to read 2 things on here and then 2 that I have on my laptop because I read on there as well. So it says on here, he said, "Contented poverty is an honorable estate. Indeed, if it be contented, it is not poverty at all. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. What does it matter how much a man has laid up in his safe or in his warehouse? How large his flocks and how fat his dividends? If he covets his neighbor's property and reckons not his past gains, but his hopes of gains to come. Do you ask what is the proper limit to wealth? It is first to have what is necessary, and second to have what is enough. Farewell." So he usually says farewell at the end of his letters because these are actual letters he sent to people. The next one says, "Poverty brought into conformity with the law of nature is great wealth. Do you know what limits the law of nature? Do you know what limits that law of nature ordains for us? Merely to avert hunger, thirst, and cold." I told you, I don't know why I can't read right now. All right, so these last 2 on here. It says, "How often has the unexpected... I can't read. What is my problem? Dang it. All right, here we go. I'm not editing this out. Whatever. How often has the unexpected happened? How often has the expected never come to pass? You will suffer soon enough when it arrives. So just look forward to better things to come." I'm making up stuff now because I can't read for some reason. All right, sorry about that, y'all, but I've tried to record this a few times already. I'm hungry. It's time to eat. So I'm going to get off here, my last video for today. And I'm going to get back at this again. We're going to be consistent with these videos. Thank you for sticking around. Leave some new books that I should read below, or one of these books that you may read. And I hope to see you in the next video.